name is Ben Chung, and in this video, I'm going to give you an introduction to tech chess. A background and history of chess. Chess has spread all throughout the world, starting with Chaturanga in India and Shang-Chi in China, and has now spread to all around the world as international chess. It's Jangi in Korea, Shogi in Japan, and Sudian in Burma, and Makaruk in Thai. And if you say the word chess, most people will probably know at least the concept of chess. So in tech chess, we use the tech deck cards to represent chess pieces. Each player starts with 2 kings instead of just 1, as in international chess, a queen, a knight, 2 rooks, and 6 upgradable pawns. These are pretty easy to remember, as the indices on the tech deck cards have a king, have a queen, and if you remember that jumping jacks jump like knights, it's pretty easy to remember that the jacks are knights and the aces are rooks. So basically all the poker hand capital pieces are capital pieces in chess. Everything else is a pawn. The value 2 through 10 cards are pawns. We set up the board like we see on the left there, where players will pull out tech deck cards of those numerical values and set up the game on a 6x6 board. If we look on the right, those correspond to the following chess pieces. Setting up the game. So first, you'll randomly determine a first player, you'll remove the wild cards from the deck, and then you'll set up the board as was seen in the previous slide. And then you can play either on a printed board provided or use regular playing cards in a pinch, and then set the remaining cards aside to form a draw deck, and each player draws 3 cards at the start of the game. Gameplay. In normal chess, all you do is just move a piece. But in tech chess, you can do one of 4 things on your turn. You can move a piece, you can use a card effect from a card in your hand, or you can promote a piece, upgrade a piece. A upgradable pawn, a value 2 through 4 pawn, can be upgraded to any other piece by playing and exchanging that pawn with a card in your hand. You can also build a pawn onto the first or second rank of your side of the board. So on a player's turn, they can perform one of the following 4 actions. Move a piece. The player can move one of their pieces, and if he captures an opposing piece, he may use the card ability on the card that made the capture, and you put the captured piece into the discard. If you capture one of the kings, you expel it from the game. You can use a card effect. A player may use a card ability from a card in their hand. To use a card ability, a player reveals the card and resolves the game effect on it and discards it after use. You can upgrade a piece. Twice per game, a player may upgrade one of their 2, 3, or 4 value cards on the board with any non-13 value card from their hand, matching his domains by exchanging those cards. You can build a piece. 3 times in a game, a player may build a pawn of value 2 through 10 on their first or second row of one of the domains from their hand onto the board. And the objective in winning the game is to capture both of your opponent's kings. If you do so, you win the game. If each player only has 1 king left and no other pieces, the game ends in a draw. Stalemate occurs when a player cannot make a legal move. Moving pieces. So many of the pieces in tech chess move just like their counterparts in international chess. The value 2 through 10 pawns, though, move with a little bit more freedom. They can move forward, diagonally, or laterally 1 space, and the value 2 through pawns are upgradable. The rooks move vertically or horizontally any number of spaces, just like they do in chess. Knights move 2 squares vertically, 1 square horizontally, or 2 squares horizontally on 1 square vertically, both forming the shape of an L, just like they do in chess. And they can jump over other pieces. The queen moves vertically, horizontally, or diagonally any number of spaces, just like it does in chess. And the king, though, moves with a little bit more freedom. It can move in any direction, 1 or 2 spaces, vertically, horizontally, or diagonally. Capturing a piece. If you move your piece onto the same position as an opposing piece, you capture it. Remove the piece from the board and place it in the discard pile, and if you capture a king, you expel it instead. And when you make a capture, you can use the card ability of the piece that made the capture. Upgrading pieces. Twice per game, a player can upgrade one of their 2, 3, or 4 value cards on the board to any non-13 value card from their hand. A player can track that just with counters, tokens, or poker chips. So an example of upgrading a piece, player number 1 here, the first player, wants to upgrade his 3 of service of an upgradable pawn. And in his hand, he has a 12 of technology, a 7 of knowledge, an 11 of science. And so he can't use the 7 of knowledge or the 12 of technology because those are domains belong to the second player. So he decides to exchange his 3 of service with the 11 of science in his hand. Building pieces. So on your turn, 3 times per game, a player may build a pawn of value 2 through 10 on their first or second row of one of their domains they control from their hand onto the board. So we see here an example of player 2 playing a 9 of technology and building it as a pawn onto the second row of the board. Winning. If a player has captured both kings, the 13th value of card of their opponent, he wins the game. If each player has only 1 king left and no other pieces, the game ends in a draw. Check. When a king comes under fire, the attacker announces check. If the other player still has 2 kings in the game, they're not obligated to move their checked king on their next turn. However, if they have only 1 king left, they are. If you have 2 kings, it's also legal to move a king to a position where it might be captured. Stalemate. If a player has only 1 king left and their king is not under attack but is unable to move, it is a stalemate, just like in chess. The tech deck. So the tech deck is a platform, a game platform, and there will be a family of games that you can play with the tech deck. Tech Grid Poker is a 2-dimensional poker game with card abilities. Tech City, a city of cards, is a semi-cooperative card tile-laying city building game where each of the companies that players play into the city increases the pool or the set of abilities that players get to use. And Tech Exchange is a real-time card stock exchanging game. So that's it. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you check out the Tech Chess Play Guide, which goes into deeper detail of how to play Tech Chess. Thank you.